I didn't hear any of the intro stuff.
Oh my god!
I was researching.
I mean, I heard it.
Stuff.
I okay. And at least my buttons for the soundboard are working, so that's a thing. Yeah, no button problems. I can probably just. Hey, there we go. Okay, cool. Yes, we are here without Ash, which for that one commenter that always comments on these videos, going like, "What's that Ash guy even doing over there? He barely has any input." Well. He's not here this week, so
there'll be even less input.
There'll be even less. Yes, I am testing something because obviously, look, I'm just gonna be upfront. Like every time I start working on these reviews, I get distracted, and I get distracted by working on this because, yeah, with the convention coming up next month, I've been like full steam ahead on trying to get this thing completed. And rigged up with all the lights and everything, just in that time. So at that point, I'm just gonna like prioritize getting this shit done before I even move on to these reviews. Just because, look, this takes a lot of work and it's a lot of frustrating things. Like I'll start typing up something and then 3D print will finally be done. Like literally right before the stream started, a 3D print just got finished.
Yeah.
So
like made
and now I'm just starting another one. Done. Yep. Maybe you just got up. So moved on. And went ahead and got that done. I just finished rigging up the lights for the chest piece. The legs are still going to take some work, but I do got the front. I'm printing out the side piece that goes here right now, but the other side piece is in, and the back does light up as well. So it's all lit.
You better hope it's not hot and humid next month. Humidity.
My back's already hot and humid, so that's why I'm stress testing this right now. So
I'm melting over here right now. I just checked my phone. It's still 93 degrees at 6 o'clock. I'm like, bro. I'm moved to Alaska.
And look, word for the wise for anyone who's trying to get into doing cosplay and trying to go with something that's fully elaborate, like full on armor, something like that. You gotta live in that cosplay for a while before you go to a convention. You gotta get your body acclimated to the extra weight, all the extra wear it's gonna put on your shoulders, because even the most basic of cosplays sometimes it might still put a wear on you, depending on some of the more elaborate things. Like for my Roy cosplay, that cape's heavy as fuck. Like that thing, like it puts a lot of stress on my shoulders. So you pretty much have to do your own training by literally just living in the cosplay for a bit just to get acclimated to it, or else you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna definitely have a bad time. I've seen too many people have heat stroke at conventions because they weren't used to the cosplays that they were rocking. I still remember a few years back there was a dude that rocked a full Evangelion, like Eva Unit 1. And, like, they needed assistance to drag that thing into the convention, and the only way that they could get set up was with assistance from strangers on the floor. He wore that for probably an hour before I saw him already passed out. So Yeah, you gotta like it's cool that you put that together. The thing is, just like he didn't even have any friends to come with him to put it on, so that tells me that he probably only did like a quick test fit at home, and then just was like, all right, this is good. This is good for the convention. So yeah, we gotta get all that going on. So
that's why I'm always like any Southern California cosplayer, especially because all our conventions are in the summer. I'm like, kudos. Like I don't even want to wear shorts. I don't even want to go outside. Yeah, they're out in like full, especially during like Power Morphicon. Everyone wearing like a lot of, especially the people because they had the Ninja Turtle full like real Ninja Turtle suits.
Oh, they're doing that,
and I'm like, I was like, sir, it's like 91 out. I can only imagine what it feels like inside of that thing. Like you're in a sauna suit. Like that's just no, can't do it. Too old. I'll pass out.
At least if it's just a regular Power Ranger or Sentai thing, it's just like, okay,
that's fine.
That's breathable. Just remember to wear your fucking dancer's belt when you go out there.
Yep.
Because we see way too much of that at these conventions. I think
sometimes not even that much. Sometimes I was like, listen, some people should have some shame. I'm just saying.
And they just don't do it. Look, I slipped up the first time I tried centralizing the gym.
Yeah.
Where instead of a dancer's belt, I just wore a G-string.
That does not help.
Yeah, that would just centralize.
The banana hammock does not help any situation.
Just moved everything to the forefront. Just everything just there. Yeah, it's just like, okay, cool. Yeah, so that was quite the powerful Nightwing cosplay I rocked at that convention that year. I'll just say that much.
Luckily, I always like go into OCD mode and I do like too much research. So when I did the Spider-Man one, I was like, I already knew about the dancer belt. I was like, all right. I was like, nope. Make me anatomically correct to an action figure. Like I can't.
Oh well,
that's my web shooter.
But yeah, I mean that's what I get for trying to make probably one of the most complex Kamen Rider designs out there. That it doesn't even have a real physical suit in the medium. It's just like, nah, it's just an action figure. We're not gonna make this thing in real life. That's gonna be too crazy. And then I'm just like, hold my seltzer. And then I'm just like, all right, cool. Die.
See, if I do a Kamen Rider, I gotta do an easy one. Like I gotta do like Ghost. That looks like lightweight and chill. Just regular base form. None of that. But like, I still want to do the Blade one.
Because of the chest armor on it, I would still say that there is more. Plus, you've got the like the side panel cloak things. Like I would think that would still cause some sort of heat. You probably would be better off just doing something from Blade anyway, just because the chest
Blade is always going to be the first one. So
yeah, minimal leg armor, nothing crazy on that front. So it would work out. It's like even when I was rocking my Orga cosplay, it actually wasn't too terrible in terms of the heat, because honestly, having the chest piece being lifted up from the body does allow for some air circulation. It's just when you get something that's super pressed onto the body that it ends up being terrible for the flow. So just word to the wise on that.
That's why most of my cosplays have been video game characters. So much easier. Usually sometimes it's street clothes. I'm like, oh, it's so easy.
I mean, I'm thinking the next writer I'm going to end up doing is probably going to be Kabuto, in preparation for the Kabuto 20th next year.
I'll definitely have Blade before the year is done. Just base form. I do want to do, just for the entertainment value, Kamen Rider Tassel. It's canon. I need that. I don't know. It's just time. Like, I mean, the Blade one I'm not doing. I'm getting that commissioned because I'm from that guy I sent you. I'm not 300 US for the whole suit. Oh, that's not bad. Love that currency exchange.
Yeah, considering the amount of money that I've already put into this, and I'm not even done yet. Like, yeah, no. And the price of filament has gone up
already. He's doing a
oh my god
for Gavu already. Remember, he does a 3D print. Everything is freaking EVA foam.
Yeah,
he doesn't. I mean that at all.
That is much faster when you're cranking it out. It just kills on some of the uniformity unless he makes his own template.
Yeah, like he does. Like he has a whole team now of like 8 people. It's crazy. He went from just him and his brother to like 8 people, and now they're just like they got a nice little thing going on. He bought a house with like a big garage that he turned into a workshop. Because that's what I do. I build rapport with people, so that way they give me discounts.
One way to make it work.
Yep.
All right. So before jumping on to the main topic, which is obviously going to end up being the toy sales for this week, because we got them quarterly numbers once again. So we don't have anything Black Sun to tie into it this time. You finally watched Black Sun?
No.
Okay. All right. Cool. I just got to do my quarterly check-in.
Yep. Nope. Still haven't. Maybe in a couple more quarters, I'll think about it.
So I know that obviously you're behind on Gozuger.
Yes.
But you are caught up on Gavu.
Yes.
How did you feel about Over's debut this week?
Sadly, my review went live before we went live when it wasn't supposed to. I've been saying it since Dente was introduced. I was like, okay, he's got to make. I was like, oh, he's gonna make the mid-season like super form. That didn't happen. I'm like, oh, he'll make the final form. That's what happened. I liked everything about it because I didn't like the scans, which has been a really good trend with this season. I have not liked any of the scans, and then when I see him on the show, I like it. It felt like it was almost out of nowhere at first because we just got Cookie Bitter Gavu.
I mean, it does. It genuinely does.
But at the same time, like there's a lot of good things in the episode. I wish it debuted in this weekend's episode instead because Magen is such a good Granu and villain. Like I like this snob, like dapper gentleman. And then I'm like, and then he got launched over 3 county lines with 1 punch. But I liked the suit itself. The presentation and how they delivered the suit was great. The henshin, like him walking through his Granu attacks and like this and that. I was like, all that stuff was good. It's just I feel like we could have got another episode or 2 out of Dente trying to do everything to make it.
That's where I had my big disconnect with the episode, is that it felt like the debut of the form happened too quickly. Like they figured out how to fix the issue too quickly. It's like, all right, Dente made a husk, essentially. Shoma uses it. It should have gone nowhere. And I'm like, okay, he should have gotten like maybe his face caved in a little bit and then something happens to them to like escape out. And then they try figuring out what they need to do to attain the form, that type of thing.
I will say the civilian fighting in this episode was really fucking good. Like, that's one of the strong suits of this show. And like, even when Shoma was getting his ass beat and I was sitting there, I was like, this is good. And the whole time I'm like, Rom's just sitting there watching. I was like, he didn't really get beat up that bad, but he's just going to sit there and watch and be like, and then Hanto got lost too. I'm like, but I'm still confused about Hanto because there's been inconsistencies since he got his little frappe custom. Because sometimes he'll just go regular Valen with the gun, the Valen Buster. Then he'll go for it, and I'm like, sir, like you already know you peaked your power with just a regular Chagodon. Why even bother with that? This one has no side effects. Why? I don't think. When's the last time we had a rider who had 2 different changers and could just basically do whatever he wanted like that? I was like, I don't think we've gotten it at all. I know we have it in Reiwa, and I'm like, why this man and he loses all the time? So why you got 2 changers and you still
and then goes back to base? Essentially, he starts off in base and then he pulls out the other one. It's just like, why are you even storing the extra driver? Like at least having the Valen Buster makes sense if he's just dangling it from the side of his belt, that type of thing.
Yeah, but no, I mean the debut of it's fine. I just don't like that. Apparently, we're already going to get the master mode, like possibly next episode.
Valverade doesn't count because Valverade essentially he was Kamen Rider, and then the other thing, like he didn't frequently swap between regular Valverade and Kamen Rider Valverade. It was just Valverade or Kamen Rider, and most of the time it was just Kamen Rider. So that one doesn't really count in my book. Because he wanted to be a writer.
Plus, it's Goddard, so nothing from that show counts. The amount of money I wasted, all those cards.
I mean,
I have time remorse. No,
Toei doesn't have buyer's remorse on that. Wow, now right into the mic.
Dude, she knows the microphone now. Like, she'll purposely, like, when I'm recording videos, walk over and meow at the mic, and I'm like, no, like, no one wants to listen to you talk.
But yeah, the form in itself is like I did like the looks of the form. I just didn't like, how soon it just. A lot of these last forms have just felt completely just crapped out, like completely rushed. Like Blizzard Sorbet felt like it just suddenly happened. Same thing for Hanto's frappe form. That just seems like it suddenly happened because once again, this is a new driver that Dente made, not knowing how to replicate Nirob's Gochizos, and yet Shoma all of a sudden is able to make a Gochizo that's compatible with a driver that doesn't belong to his system. Okay, sure. And then this, it's like, okay, Dente creates a husk. Cool. And then the Gochizos just figure out, hey, I can just, we can all just self-sacrifice ourselves and go straight in there and bam, power it up.
That's what's bothering me most about the frappe one is because the toy literally tells you the top can go inside the Gavu unit. And I was like, just from us, he could have, like, I think because of the moment of them finally like on the same page, 2v1, this and that, I thought it would have been cool if, one half went into for Hanto and the top part went to Shoman. Like, going back, I was like, that would have been a cool thing. Be like, okay, it's the power of friendship. That's why he can share it instead of, here, this is yours completely. I can't use it because we know he can because it's literally on the box.
Yeah,
and it's one of the best gimmicks on the show. Like, is the like that frappe custom is such a good gimmick.
But he ain't using it, so yeah.
Hey, they talk. At least it talks.
And I guess the shelf life on it's pretty good.
Yeah, it doesn't melt. Like the timing and the consistency of Blizzard, the Blizzard one sorbet is like confusing because I feel like it melted really fast this time, but like when he was weak, it melted. He couldn't hold the power in, so it melted. But then there's been other episodes where he can fight longer with it when he's feeling better. Like,
I think the explainer in my head canon when it comes to Blizzard Sorbet is the sooner he uses it after he just shoots it out is when it's prime ready for use. If it's just been sitting out, then it's gonna melt faster. Just like regular ice cream. You gotta eat it, as soon as it comes out the freezer.
We haven't even I haven't seen him eat ice cream in like 3 episodes.
I mean, that's why I was hoping there would be an episode where they're legit just like Sachika just comes behind with a cooler, and then just throws him the Gochizo because they've just been storing them in a cooler.
She's riding a bicycle with one of those like ice cream carts in the front of it, and she's just like, here you go, ice cream. Also, it's looking really good that she's not going to be a Kamen Rider. I'm really happy because so many people want her to be a Kamen Rider, and I'm like, no, her character in this show and presentation-wise and her role is perfect. We do not need her to be a Kamen Rider. And I noticed some people online are starting to get mad because she's not a Kamen Rider yet.
But I mean, there is the whole bake gun that technically doesn't require someone to have any implantations to utilize it.
I think Nel's going to use that.
Well, yeah, I expect him to use it first.
Because I don't know if I feel like because there was that one little line and a lot of people didn't talk about it where Sean was like, so you're betraying Lango, and he's like, oh, that's the pot calling the kettle black there. And I'm like,
yeah.
So I feel like there's like pockets now where it's like Jeeb and like the president's daughter, and then Nell is kind of like there, but he has his own side project. And we have like Glota and like Longo are like their own little unit. So I feel like we're gonna get some weird like inter-stomach ink like civil war after this arc that we're on.
Well, to be fair, for Nidoba, I always expected him to be, sailing by his own tune because he's, the scientist type. They only care about the progress of their science. That's it. They don't care about, evil misdeeds or taking over. No, they just want to see their science perfected. and that's why he was working with other scientists. And now that Tsuka's gone, it's like, all right, cool. Let's see what Dente's cooking up. And I mean, people thought that Dente was going to be gone from the preview last week,
Yeah.
and he's still not. So I'm just like, maybe Nier is just trying to see what Dente can crap out, just so he can once again still have that scientific, like arms race.
Speaking of, how is Dente starving if he's using his granite teeth, but whenever he's eating snacks and stuff, he's using his regular face mouth up here with the CG? Like, I don't know how he's starving. I don't get it. Kind of threw me off when they said that. I was like, how are you getting weak and not eating when I haven't seen you put any food in there in your stomach, like through your stomach mouth. You've been eating.
Maybe they got two stomachs.
Oh.
They're kind of like cows.
Yeah. He's kind of shaped like a cow.
Yeah, I mean, what's his animal motif? A whale?
I was trying to think of what it was. I thought it was going to be a hippo.
It looks like a whale to me. So,
because he hasn't used any attacks, and also like, what else was in this one? Not Dente. Who else? The whole like, we still like. I honestly thought the Mantis Granite was the one that killed Camel, but it's not. So that's still like a plot point that they're gonna have to resolve.
Yeah. We got that red herring, last week, and I was like, okay, great, cool, but we still have the big problem in the show, which is now anyone can be Bitter Gavu.
Yeah, I don't. Well,
little quick surgery. You change your Gavu into this one, swap it out for a new one. Get that divisor power going.
That's why I feel like there's an asterisk next to anyone can be, because it's like not really. There's an asterisk. You gotta have surgeries, so it's like
transplant.
Yeah.
But we're still going to end up seeing a decent amount of them, and I think until they perfect the technology, then there's the potential that eventually it might end up just being able to go to anyone, such as their agents, and then they definitely would just have an army of Bitter Gavus via terrible CG, of course.
Also, the fact that Shoma took out I also do like that the Gochizos, not all of them are forms, because like the caramel one was just an attack, just like the popcorn one. But I was like,
hilarious.
Yes, I know. Yeah. Oh, I glossed over that in my review because I'm like, listen, there's jokes that can be made. I already made it with the whole caking one when he was doing the whip and shooting the bird. I'm like, nope, I hit my limit for the season really early on. But I was like, he took out an agent in base form with the kicking gummy, and I was just like, is his attack really that strong? Because in base form, that's why I was like, I was like power scaling, because I don't like how it's just base form with a kicking gummy, and he struggled against Granutes in that form, but he was able to take out an agent so easily with a kick.
Let's see here. So would the surgery work on humans? We saw Hanto have surgery. Well, the thing is, like, I guess so, because the Gavu itself is a Granute organ. So I guess transplanting that on a human might feasibly be possible.
Mm-hmm. True.
So Sachika could still be a writer.
I don't want it to happen. I really don't. It would feel out of place, honestly, this many episodes in with maybe 15 episodes left if it goes up to 48 or 49 episodes. And I'm like, if it was going to happen, they should already planted the seeds for it.
Let me see. If there's no more Shoma clones, then who is going to use Baki Baki Stick? We still got no Baki Baki Stick. I mean, that's the one that's been on the box for the longest time.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think there is one more like Shoma clone, because while typing up my review that I obviously still haven't put out because I keep getting distracted by making this cosplay, while rewatching the episode where Lakia destroys the lab, they're all gone. There's no survivors. Rewatch that episode. There's no illusions that a clone survived.
There was 2 when Shoma was kidnapped, and when Shuga debuted to Henshin, there was only 1 with him. So there's still 1 clone just like somewhere. And then when Lagia destroyed everything, he was only fighting 1 clone that was out of the tank. So there's still 1 clone that wasn't in the tank. That's why I was like, unless it's like one of the errors in filming where like, oh crap, there were 2 clones, weren't there? Because there was 2 clones that held Shoma down. And then only 1 showed up when Bake debuted, and then only 1 was there when Lakia destroyed the lab. So I'm like, there's still 1 somewhere out there, probably eating pizza somewhere.
I don't know, unless they leave it for like a film type thing. I don't feel that it would have like a show payoff just because the amount of episodes that we have left and what they've got to do. Because right now, I am not confident that they're going to stick the landing. There's too many open threads right now.
I don't think that. I think they're going to stick the landing. I think it's been like I personally have been really enjoying it. Like the little things that I've noticed haven't really taken away from my enjoyment. I think it would take a lot for them to just like screw up the whole ending of the show because it's been too consistent. The good is outweighing the bad, whereas like I think
they can stick the general plot point, but in terms of like tying up all the loose ends, I don't know if they can.
Yeah, it's the one thing is like the only one I really don't want to mess up is the whole like. Well, they even mention it now because Hanto's still looking into the family for Shoma, but I was just like, there's not really much unless like the whole G Shita thing. Nothing comes of that where he's just like the broken toy for the president's daughter. Like the whole brand new president stuff is the only thing that I'm just like wary on because I'm like, it hasn't really progressed much in like 3 or 4 episodes.
So I mean, like, that's the thing. We are only a couple of episodes in.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know what could happen with that, but I'm like, there's still just like, I'm just hoping we learn more about the grand new like world and how the society works because they give us little sprinkles of it, and I'm like, I'm very intrigued by this grand new world. I would like more information about it.
Let me see this. Barbox is definitely trying to dip into the Sachika writer thing, saying Sachika gets mortally wounded. Suga comes back and gives her surgery. She uses the retooled Vlamstrom gear. Nah, it sounds like fan fiction.
They confirmed Shuga's done. Like even Hanto's character's like, nah, he's not. He's done. He's gone.
Let's see. Here's a stupid thought. There's a new bake with red eyes, and Nirub is working on the bake magnum for Lango to procure more presses. Could Lango become bake? I doubt it. I mean, the thing is like the scans that showed us bake, but it also showed us like Lango's like his real form.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I wouldn't want to downgrade from that nice looking like Granu form to bake with a terrible basic ass undersuit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no es bueno. Wouldn't want to do that.
No.
I mean, we still have potential summer movie things, and that's one of the things that I do feel we had slow down was because that 2-episode arc with that red herring of the guy that might have killed Komel but didn't actually kill Komel thing, which I'm still like, that was a bitch move to try and egg on Locky at the end, and then get your shit caved in, and then be like, no, it wasn't me. Like
I saw it as like it was just once again the whole Hanto being buddy. Like the first episode, I like the dynamic of that 2-episode arc though. The first episode was very like slapstick humor, this and that. Then this one was more serious, and like I get a lot of this is just pushing the story of like getting acclimated to being human and like and gaining some humanity, and then also like the dynamic of the group and everyone kind of sort of getting along. Even though I gave up, I was trying to count how many times he called Hanto stupid or an idiot in those 2 episodes because I found it very entertaining. But I was just like, I see it as even though it was a red herring for the whole camel thing, who killed him, I think that was just there to push the whole, oh, look what they have in common. Hanto's mom, his younger brother. And I was like, all right, them tending to their wounds in a dimly lit Suga's old laboratory office.
I mean, I'm of the thought process of thinking that Lizelle was probably the one that killed Komel.
Probably. But, I mean...
The thing is, she was freely just wandering around with the common folk when she found Jipu anyway. She looks like she's just trying to find pets.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, that's true, but...
And if Komel tried stealing from her, you know she don't want no trouble. She like Jackie Chan on steroids. She's gonna just absolutely unleash hands.
So, does that mean you think the whole story premise that it was a hit put on him because he wanted to stop working with Stomach Inc. is not the case then?
No, because once again, when they were reviewing his initial paperwork, when they found out that Lakia was related to one of their previous workers, Komel, there was nothing in the paperwork, and then their reactions in general were like, who the hell was this guy anyway? Like, they looked like they had no knowledge of the guy whatsoever. Sure. And
you
even
learn their language,
yes,
so you could read their stuff. Like, you learned their language.
Yeah, I read the documentation, and there was like nothing of like substantial thing in there. It even says that it doesn't know who like killed him, just that he was eliminated. So there's nothing on there specifically that points to anyone within Stomach Inc. actually doing the deed. I do think he just fucked up, slipped up on the wrong person, probably Lizelle, and she did him in.
Yeah.
That could at least give
like her
character some tie-in to one of the characters in there.
Yeah, the president stuff seems kind of like just there. Like, I don't know. Like when she was threatening in the last episode, Shoma being like, you know what, we're gonna make more, we're gonna capture more humans, we're gonna press more of them and this and that. And I'm like, why does she care? Like, I don't
look, I don't think Glota was the killer because once again, go back to the episode in which they found out that Lage 9 at the time was related to Komel. Look at their expressions. They all like look dumbfounded.
Plus, that's not her department, technically.
Yeah, it's only if he stumbled into the lab and stole some treats.
Yeah.
But then would he have wandered far? Would he have even managed to get far enough to actually escape the lab in which they're, the manufacturing plant to get back to the common place before getting slashed in the back? I highly doubt it.
No.
He would have to have Rider-like abilities.
He'd have to know the code to get in. So,
like, there's too many variables that just make it seem like it wouldn't be Glota.
I'm gonna laugh if it's just like another Granute. That's it. Nothing different. Just a Granute. Just a random mugging. He had too many rocks in his pocket.
I mean, I do think
with a marble swirl
that it was just Komel trying to pickpocket someone else to get some additional stuff, and then stumbled on the wrong person. Whether it was Lizelle or maybe one of the butlers for the president, since we know how strong those suckers are.
I need more of that butler. I need that. Like, I'm mad it was just that one time in that little alley back. That's it. I'm like, no, that butler was good. Good Granite is good design for the agent and everything. And I'm like, that's it. Like, bring him back.
Yeah, we know he had multiple because in his debut he had like 2 butlers with him. At first, I just thought that they were like regular ass Granute, but when they said that it was his familiars, I was like, ooh. That's another person that we know is popping out.
I try not to get hung up on that, on like how the familiars and agents work. Like, is it only certain Granutes? How do they learn it? Does every Granute? Because like I'm trying not to get hung up on things like that. But like not knowing enough about the Granutes, like, is going to become an issue. Because like I want to know, why do they specifically get agents?
Yeah,
and familiars like no one else does.
Well, I mean, there's other things as well that I have questions to. Because when the president first chimed in, he did mention that it's like, imagine that there, like, who knew that there was a group of Granoots with the unique ability to traverse different dimensions and yada yada yada. And then Lizelle, all of a sudden, after getting married with Jipu, even though we didn't see the ceremony, so I don't know. She's now able to just freely travel dimensions, because in one of the episodes when she's traveling to the villa, you see the mark of the Stomach family pop up on the door, and she comes on out, meaning that she got that ability from Jipu. How did she get that ability? Is it literally something that's just spread via just vows, or is there something more? Does she literally take something from Jipu that we don't know about yet? And I think those are the questions that not a lot of people are actually asking on that.
Because we got a shiny new form. I can't ask those questions right now.
And real quick, let me see. Oh, this one. There it is. I was just like, it's been so long since I pressed the button. I got to find it. All right. So when we were talking about which departments it was to take care of the people that were freeloading on, it was Jipu and Cheetah's department in terms of taking care of folks. So I guess maybe it would, and they weren't in the room when they found out about Komel, because obviously Cheetah's dead and Jipu was out, getting hoisted by little girl. So it could have also been Jipu. That's another very real possibility, because he wasn't in the room when they had the big reveal.
And it did look like a claw mark on the back, like a slash. So, and they are wolf Granoot. So it could.
Can Lakia have agents? No idea. I don't think he's tried.
Yeah. No.
Which is another thing. It's like, is it reserved to quote unquote maybe higher class folks?
Yeah.
But then again, it's like we don't see Dente popping out any familiars. But then again, that probably takes,
he's old,
resources from the food that he's ingesting, and he's not ingesting he's hungry right now. He just needs to survive himself.
He eats chips.
So, Komel died before the twins took charge. All right, so now let's look at the timetable of events. So, Komel died, it was like 6 months before the show started.
You're a day.
Because when Lakia confronted Shoma, he says that he's only been doing this for 6 months or so, something like that. So he couldn't have been in the Granoot world. So, yeah, it would have been roughly a year. When did Shida and Jipu get elevated to their position? Because they were already in their garb, obviously, they were already in their position when, the entire thing happened to Shoma and his mom and stuff like that. But so really how long before that?
No.
4 months. Even then, that's a smaller timetable of events.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to matter who, the mother is for that side of the family.
Nah.
It might be a movie thing.
Yeah, we care more about, what's the family, the mother's side of the family in the human world.
See, so that's the thing. It's like there's still a lot of questions, but I don't think all the questions are going to get answers by the end of the show. I just don't feel that they're going to do that.
But for me, a lot of the questions, I'm not going to, it's not going to affect my overall opinion of the show if I don't know why some Granoots have agents and familiars and others don't. It'd be a nice little garnish of information, but it's not going to really change my opinion of the show. I mean, the Camel's killer, that's definitely could, depending on how that's handled, that could kind of not be done well. Same with Shoma's mother's side of the family. So there's very few things of the questions where I'm like, all right, would it be great to have a perfect show where there's no plot holes and all these get answered? Yes, but a majority of those aren't going to make me be like, all right, this show's trash. Because you know what? I watched Gotchard.
Well, even on the side perspective, we haven't seen Lizelle produce any of her own agent butlers. Like they were her dads.
Yeah. And so I'm like, do you have to be a certain age? Do you have to be certain? Like, I don't know. So it's like one of those things where I'm like, all right, it's just agents, you know.
You gotta
Apparently,
have
they can get beat by
a
base form.
certain gene trait because the thing is like when you look at the the father of the family in the flashbacks, it's like, he already looks like a very dapper fellow. Doesn't look like one that would be like dealing with drugs or anything like that. So he had to have gotten some wealth anyway to have gotten to where he had gotten before he started dealing with what he was dealing with. So there's got to be something there in terms of him possibly have been someone in the higher class society, and then something happened. They lost status, but obviously still being previously of higher status, still reserved the ability to do what they can do. So it's a possibility in terms of appearances. Yeah, just because of the way that, say, like how Lango in particular obviously looks exactly like his dad because they just slapped a fucking mustache on him and said, "Hey, that's your dad." And his appearance to the president, like they seem very similar in terms of the design that they were trying to go for these guys.
Yeah.
As opposed to obviously Sheeta and Jeep, where they just look very like completely based off of their animal. The others not so much.
No.
Because the president's supposed to be Cthulhu based, I think was the thing.
No, they said? No, I didn't read anything about it.
So it's like, oh, okay.
I don't do any dives into information. I just watch the show, and then I'm like, all right, do I want to look up anything? I'm like, I don't. Especially on social media.
All right. So real quick on the rumor mills, I haven't dived too much into this besides the conversations that I've had on Discord regarding it. But there are rumors that there might actually be something going down for the Kabuto 20th next year.
Ooh.
Potentially a film, because the director of the series was apparently out revisiting filming locations that they used for Kabuto, which kind of started putting smoke, in a lot of areas in regards to, are they casing out areas for a potential Kabuto thing going on? So yeah. And apparently there's been other things being looked at, which I was talking with the fellows on Discord about, where there's the return of like the Bee and Drake, or at least the Zectors for them were visible. And that's where I started getting into like, okay, all right, so let's start speculating on what a potential Kabuto 20th anniversary film would look like. Because the thing is, like, if we keep getting logos for all these anniversaries and shit all comes out of them. I mean, what all did you get for Blade besides some reissued CSMs and a couple more CSMs?
Stage show.
And that's it.
And technically we got the Lango King form, but yeah, we just
And that was I mean, Outsiders. I'm talking about Garen?
That was Garen. Garen.
Yeah, but that
form.
Oh,
yeah, Garen.
But that was in the stage show for Liangle. That's disgusting.
But like, no, we didn't get anything. We didn't get a movie. Didn't get a park bench. Got nothing. They could have just made the most depressing movie ever and just took that light novel. It just made that. It
could have literally just been the Kenzaki just walking in a desert for 2 hours straight, just still trying to avoid Hajime, and that would have just been it.
A visual novel. Everyone he knows is dead. It's been hundreds of years. He's depressed. That's all they had to do.
But no, didn't get that. We're in the year of Hibiki now, and we know we ain't getting shit for Hibiki besides that CSM.
No. Yeah.
But maybe for Kabuto, we'll get something. So, have you seen Kabuto?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just trying to make sure.
We went over this. I've seen everything except for I don't watch a lot of the movies, like the cross. Remember when they do the crossovers, like Sentai and I didn't watch
Even a lot of
those,
even a lot of the AU films that they had during Heisei 1, I didn't watch because I never watched the one for Kiva. I watched the one for Kabuto because that's canon.
The one that ruined it for me was I watched the one that was Gaim and Drive, and I was like, "This is." And I watched it after watching Drive, but I didn't watch Gaim yet, and I was like, "What is this? This is weird. Why is the fruit thing about to attach to Drive? I don't know what's going on in this movie." I was like, "I don't like that," and then I just stopped watching the movies because. No, because some of them are canon, some of them aren't, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I just want to watch the show. Like, I'll just watch the show, and that's it.
Well, also the problem with the films back in the day was that the Blu-ray release or the DVD release for the films would come out like 8 months after the show ended, and then it would take another like 3 months before. So it would be like a whole year after the show ended for us to finally get the subs for the films, and by then I'm like, I don't care. Yeah. We're on new show, and I don't even have this old show in the zeitgeist anymore. So it's lost its purpose.
It's kind of like I was like with the whole graduation one that just came out for Gacha. I'm like, dude, we're already in like Gavu. Like, I don't care about the like. It's just timing of it. It's like, no, I don't care. Like, the show's over. Like,
yeah, I never saw all the Drive supplemental content that they released after it was over because they came out so long after in terms of sub-wise after the show was over. Yeah. I'm just like, yeah, no. I watched Kamen Rider Heart, and that was like the only one that I watched. I think I may have watched the Proto Drive Chase one, but that's about it. But I didn't watch the Brain one.
I haven't seen any of those. I've seen Kiva's, obviously Missing Ace, because Missing Ace was actually a really good continuation from the show, especially because it became like, so I was like, that was pretty good. Plus I like the newer suits and the drivers, which only one of those was released as a DX, and it's like $300 if you want to find one in the box, because they didn't mass produce the film stuff back then.
So in just rampant speculation real quick in terms of what we could potentially see from this film, if it is indeed going to end up being a thing that happens, because when people mention like Zabi and Drake, first of all, I'm like, well, Zabi's going to be a completely new person because Zabi gets around all the time. Like, no point in returning an actor. Just it's going to be new person, cannon fodder, arrogant person that's going to get beat. Probably the first person that's going to get their hands like just completely wrecked. Drake, you know what? I wouldn't mind. Because now it's been a good number of years, obviously it's been 20 years, the little girl that wandered around with him, Con, if she became the new Drake.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
I'd be like, you know what? I'm fine for it. Bring back that actress. You see her all grown up now. It's been 20 years. And have her become a writer, because obviously there was no female writer in Kabuto, but that would be a perfect, segue into that one. And it would feel earned. Like a proper, deserving one on that one. Now, the real big question is, does Tendo show up or not?
I mean,
so this is the thing, and for those that don't know, even though Tendo's actor has come out to say that he is not blacklisted from Toei, there's been a lot of rumors, speculations that Tendo's actor got blacklisted because he started his own acting agency after the situation that was going on with his wife back in the day, because his wife had, I believe, she had some sort of sickness, and because of that, he tried reaching out for help from his agencies and stuff like that. They didn't give him anything, so he was just like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out," and got her some help. Like, left the biz for like a little bit, came back, started his own agency, and apparently that was perceived as a big no, which is why the rumors started going around that he was blacklisted. Now, once again, these are rumors that his actor Hiro just acknowledged and said that they're just rumors and they have no basis in reality. He's not actually blacklisted. He's just busy. That's the word, busy. And I'm just like, I don't know, because a lot of these, the culture in Japan is completely different, so they tend to be very humble and not actually acknowledge any sort of allegations or anything like that. So we don't know the entire thing whatsoever. And especially when we got to Kamen Rider ZO, where the Kabuto thing felt so just about like anything else in that show. Felt completely not necessary because they made Kagami become Kabuto, and that was a break in his character arc. Because if you ever watch Kabuto, his entire thing was that he thought he wanted to be Kabuto, but then by the end, he accepted the fact that he's not going to be Kabuto. He accepted being attacked, that sort of thing. But then in ZO, all of a sudden, it's just like, I got what I wanted. I got to be Kabuto. And it's just like, oh, no, that's not how that's supposed to work.
Sure.
So
a lot of stuff. I didn't even know half that stuff was going on.
Yeah, so that was something that was circulating on the internet for a long time. Even when I wasn't on social media, when I was in my sabbatical, even I knew about all that stuff. So that's the thing. It's like, all right, are we gonna get proper Tendo back? I hope, because that would be the big thing. Because the main dynamic of Kabuto was him and Kagami, Tendo and Kagami. Now, pitch to me your Kabuto movie. What are the set pieces?
I don't know. I wouldn't even watch it, honestly. I haven't watched any of the anniversary stuff. Like, I watched Paradise Regained, and then I watched the O's one. I really, because it's been so long since I've watched these shows, I'd have to rewatch them before even like getting into the movie. So it's like I would have to rewatch the show to like remember a lot of the stuff and be like, all right, this is what I would do. Because what, the 20th is next year?
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm not gonna rewatch Kabuto between now and then. Like, I don't know, because like I didn't realize how, like, because obviously it's recent years, like this whole 20th anniversary thing is becoming such a thing for films. I'm like I kind of don't like it. One, because they're gonna release CSMs, and then I'm gonna buy them. So it's like, I don't know. I'll download them. I just don't watch them. Like, so I don't really think too much about the films. Like, I still don't watch a lot of the films. Like in recent years for Reiwa stuff, I have, just because a lot of them have been continuations or canon. But
oh, there it goes. The lights finally went out.
That lasted a while, because let's see, it's been 52
and I had
here,
it on.
We were talking for like 20. We were talking for almost a half hour before we went live. So.
Yeah, and I had it on for about an hour and a half before I got on. So
that's actually
all right. So about a 3-hour runtime on just one battery backup on this thing.
Is it the regular like battery, like multiple, like is it a recharge that you plugged into, or is it like
so
like
let me unplug real fast. It's just this one thing. So I got this one thing. I've got a USB splitter in there. So I've got USB splitter split 5 ways technically in there. There's still one free slot, so that's without the helmet being plugged in, because the helmet's also going to end up plugging into that.
Yeah.
The only problem I hate with these particular LED lights that I got is that when I turn them back on, they're not going to be on red by default.
Oh, you have to do it.
Yeah, so I have to remote control, like change the lights on them.
Are they the Bluetooth ones where you can do it from your phone?
No, I went cheapo. These are the $5 LED strips. I was like, nah. So the bad part about these, when I first turned them on, they're in Christmas tree light mode. So they're just going to be pulsating through all colors of the rainbow. So, but yeah, that's a 3-hour runtime.
Just call yourself Rainbow Fies.
I mean, that's technically if I was going to go Excel, but the chest doesn't open, so no.
Yeah. Now, how's the core body temperature doing right now?
Getting heated, of course, since I'm drinking as well, that elevates the body temperature. Oof. So that's also going to be doing that.
That's a factor.
Yep. But I mean, the big
be walking around in it, and
yes, and the main thing that I wanted to test out was just because most of the time when I make a cosplay like this, I can't sit because obviously all the components. But of course, I am wearing all of the leg armors for this. So it is even the fucking diaper. So I've got all that. Go far enough away so you can see everything is on. Except the stomach piece. That's the one piece that I gotta remake now, which is the one that finished 3D printing right before we went live.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, back onto Kabuto.
Yes.
My thing is the big theme around Kabuto in the beginning and towards the final arc. Actually, no, the beginning and the film that they had was a meteorite coming with worms.
I never watched the film.
So in the film, essentially what happened was all right. The film is here's spoilers for a 20-year-old film, folks.
Careful, 19 years ago. Or no, 20 years because of the time frame.
Yeah. So of course when Kabuto starts, the big thing was that 7 years before the start of the show, there was a meteor that hit Shibuya that had all the worms in it. That caused the entire thing that segued into the worms showing up and Tendo getting the belt and being able to be Tendo, be the one who walks amongst heaven and the one without parents. But he's got a grandmother though that we never met. I hope the movie starts at Grandma's funeral, so we at least get to see something.
Yeah.
Because he kept mentioning Grandma and we never got her. But then later on, in the show, they tie it back to, because obviously Kabuto was the anniversary writer show, even though who would have thought, because the way that the show is done, it's done Heisei one style of an anniversary show where it's subtle references, but nothing that's actually going to be a full-on obvious anniversary show like what we got nowadays. So the big callback is that there was actually a meteor that hit 35 years before the start of the show that had the native worms. And those end up being the ones that started Zect, made all the made all of the Zectors and all that good stuff, was using native technology. The natives ended up being more half and half, whether or not some of them were a threat, some of them were not. Most of Zect was actually ran by the natives. And the worms were actually on their way to Earth to essentially wipe out the natives. So in the Godspeed Love film, that meteorite was much larger. And essentially it did end up hitting Earth, and it ended up turning Earth into a wasteland, which, long story short, he got the Hyperzector, time shenanigans. That timeline essentially gets destroyed. He ends up taking the meteorite with the new worms that are coming in and takes it to the timeline of the main Kabuto universe, the TV series, and has that meteorite crash with the meteorite that was coming in 7 years before, making it a smaller fraction that actually ends up crashing into the Earth. And it also explains how Tendo got the Hyperzector in Kabuto. He got it from a parallel universe version of himself.
I might watch that movie. I have it on the hard drive.
It
was download all the movies. I just don't watch them.
It was like a timeline multiversal film before multiversal films were like a big thing. So that's why it ended up being a really good film. It actually was the #1 film in Japan for a while when it came out.
Oh, damn.
So it was good. So yeah, that's why my thing is, it's like, okay, then that was the big basis for Kabuto. So what if the big draw for this one is that there's another meteor that's coming down? Because that was the whole thing about Godspeed Love. There's another meteor coming as well. That's just going to wipe out humanity. So it's like, okay, so let's bring in another one. Another crash happens, and then Tendo's got to come back. Hopefully by this time the tofu's finished. He's out here speaking French. Because, of course, at the end of Kabuto, he was in France. And then we'll see who all they end up bringing back. If Yaguruma comes back, it's now my headcanon, terribly my headcanon. This is my monkey's paw wish that I don't want to be a thing, but might happen. After Yaguruma was done being in his set in his ways, his emotional toil of being a kick hopper and being emo kid, and after blowing out Kageyama's back, he reconnected with his sister and joined a little Sentai team known as the Go-Onjers, Go On Wings. And Go-Onger is canon to the Kabuto timeline, so when he comes back, he's just going to be Go On Gold. And then I die. And that's what I don't want to happen, but I feel might end up happening. Either way, as long as they don't bring back Sword. Because he's dead. Spoiler again for a 20-year-old show. Sword's dead. Don't bring him back. He's not a character that should come back. That was peak death. Well, but they can just get the new worms to mimic him just for the nostalgia. It's like, but how'd he get old? Died. Anyway, Kabuto was the first writer show that I watched week to week, so I have like massive nostalgia for that show. So that is one of these shows that I've probably watched like 3 times, but I've watched them like in the first 5 years that it came out. Like I watched it like 3 times. So it's not something that I've seen recently, but it's still something that, you know, holds near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I didn't watch it week to week. I watched it after, like right after it was done airing, because that was around the time I just. So I was like just going into like college. So I was like super like, all right, college athlete working. Like, nope, I was not watching any TV rarely in that time.
Well, I don't want to get my hopes up, but we'll see if they end up just doing more for it. I'd be down for it. Especially if it means that we get CSM releases for all of the Zectors for Kabuto. All of the Zectors, like not just the belt ones, but the other ones. Because I don't know about you, but I definitely want me that sword. Like, let me get that sword Zector.
One word.
In big size. That real thing.
Tariffs.
They might be gone by next year.
Good point. You know what? If it is, I'm on board. I'll buy CSM stuff.
Like they'll announce it next year. You know it's going to take a year to release anyway, so prices subject to change. We got some buffer time.
Yeah, if anything, we would get it probably by December at the earliest of next year. At the earliest,
yes,
probably usually the spring of the following year. So it'd be spring 2027.
They'll probably make a 2.0 of the Kabuto Zector, because the thing is about the base Kabuto Zector, it was one of the original CSs, like before there was CSMs. So just complete selection line. So there's no OST or anything like that in there. It's just, you know, made to fit adult bodies, and that's about it. The sounds are a little bit better, and that's it.
I think it's cheap enough. Well, not cheap enough. If they release enough of like Heisei CSMs, like I would trade out most of my DX ones just to have CSMs on display.
I think the belt for, because I got it here, is actually one of the nicer ones in terms of just like.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I want one, but like I have the DX one, and it's one of those things where it's like I have limited space. I keep having to reorganize everything just so I can have more stuff on display. I don't even have any of my drivers on display. I have most of them down, a few down below over there, but like I have no room right now. My closet is full of totes of just drivers and unopened toys, and one tote that's like just all gimmicks.
Well, transitioning into toys. Which one we want to talk about first? We want to look at Sentai numbers. We want to look at Rider numbers. Which one you want to look at first?
We'll do Sentai. We'll do Sentai first, because I'm curious with Go's user,
All right, so let me.
Because I like it. Like this won't show up until the next quarter, but the mini plot is very good. I've been messing with it after I filmed my video and just transforming it back and forth between the three of them, and I'm like, it's good.
It ain't good. Goes user 1.3.
So quarter one was the changer and the first.
There was like a lot of different sets of rings. Yeah, so this would run up until March. Well, the end of March.
Up until the end of March for Sentai.
Well, also remember, Go's Yuja debuted earlier than most Sentais have as well.
So with the toys that they released, one, you have to factor in at 1.3, that's not bad because their changer is their robo, is their mecha, is their robot. Whereas in other years, it's like changer, robot, two different things. So I will give them credit for that, still pulling a 1.3. The rings, at first, the DX one, the Candy Toys, the SG line and the GP line came out before the DX rings. The DX rings still came out, but that was beginning of March, middle of March. So that's not bad numbers. Because all the other stuff just now started coming out. Like I'm curious once the seahorse weapon, but that's given how much Candy Toy stuff came out and how cheap Candy Toys are in Japan. Because just to get an idea, one of these little SG rings, the GP rings, and it's not non-DX, they're $3 and like 80 cents US each. Like that's not. And then all the gachapon ones are $2, not even $2, like under $2. So it's like to have 1.3, that's not bad.
It's still bad. What are you talking about? Why are you trying to?
Because you don't have the changer is the robo, so it's not two separate releases.
But even then, like
they had the changer and the robo as two different things, and they had all those fucking cars that came out.
Down Bros barely had anything when it first came out. Sure, it had a robo, but it was like reusing Zenkaiger for half of it.
Yes, but they had all those gears, and people were buying those up like crazy. Those gears were very popular. And they had the...
But I'm going to have a coughing fit real fast because allergies.
So, Don Brothers also had the auxiliary Candy Toy Robos coming out for other shows as well. They had a good amount of stuff coming out right out the gate because they were treating it like a Zenkaiser 2.0 with like anniversary stuff. So they already had established stuff going right into it, even though Zenkaiser fell off with 0.5 at the end of their last run. And there was some Zenkaiser stuff that came out in the first quarter. I don't know if that counts towards the Don Brothers stuff or not. I don't know if that's how Kamen Rider is, but it's like for what we got, 1.3 isn't bad. Like I said, it's a big difference when you have your changer and your Megazord as two separate releases and having it the same thing. You're basically cutting a lot of lost profit because now you just buy one thing.
I think the big thing is still like they still had the weapons for the Gozugers to end up going on Tegasword to make the combination. So I'm thinking in their mind, in Toei Bandai's mind, people are going to buy multiple of these so they can make all the combinations. And I think that didn't happen.
No, it's not happening at all. And it's the issue right now with the Candy Toys, because if you look at this, it shows 3, but you only get one Tegasword, so you have to keep changing the auxiliaries on them, but you can't buy multiple of just the sword because they split it into all 6 boxes to make one. So they said it's to combat not just scalpers, but they didn't want shelves full of just Tegasword blue like pieces, like the blue lion and then Tyranno 50. They didn't want just all those stuck on the shelves and everyone just getting Tegaswords. So they split them all into the same boxes together. And that was Bandai's official, like they announced it. That's why they're releasing it that way. They're trying a lot of new things, I think, this year with Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, which they shouldn't do because it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, you're making money. Why try something new? Just make what you're already doing, like better. Don't.
Well,
This is a drastic change now.
I mean, the biggest argument that I've made for the longest time is make individualized changers for every single one of the Sentai.
Yeah.
So that way, literally, your entryway is 5 changers on there. But they went the opposite. They were like, not only is the changer going to be the same, but the robot's also the changer. So they literally like condensed their portfolio as opposed to diversifying it, which is not a positive move in that sense.
Yeah. Also, the price point on the auxiliaries, like buying not the Canada, but the DX versions of, say, the Lion 50, Tyranno 50, they're not expensive, and all the rings super cheap. Like, so some of the rings, like that's why they're selling them in like certain sets, 2-packs, this and that. But even the 2-packs, the 2-packs of the rings are the same price as one car from Boon Boonger. So it's like, okay, for the price of, say, one of these, you get 2 Sentai rings. And I'm like, yeah, you're getting more for your money, but you're not going to make more money. Plus, I think when you look at it, the last, outside of King Oger and Boon Boonger, you had Zenkaiser, Don Brothers, Gozu, all full of Sentai anniversary gimmicks. That's a lot within the span of like 5 years, 6 years. Like that's like I didn't go too hard on the Zenkaiser rings or gears. I didn't get really any Don Brother ones at all. So it's like for me, I'm like, all right, I'll get the rings. But if I had done like all the Sentai like gears, I would not be touching the rings right now because that's too many anniversary gimmicks. And I think also they thought those action figures that they released were going to be good, but while the price point in Japan they're really cheap, they look like ass.
Yeah, that Universe Robo line is not going anywhere. And
well, not just that, the action figure ones, those Sentai Reds they keep releasing, those look like trash.
Well, that's the thing. It's like they're moving the opposite direction of what we thought they were going to end up doing.
Yeah.
Because they saw how underperforming King Oger did in its second half after blowing their load trying to focus on the mecha and refining what they did with Dombros, that they ended up going too basic. And I mean, everybody already knows that Japan's got, a childhood problem. They don't have enough children. So when you're making toys for a declining demographic, that's not going to help you out. You should be trying to skew more towards maybe the parents or that aging demographic just to try and get them in there while still making some toys for the kids.
I feel like we make up for at least a couple dozen kids.
It's like, yeah.
Like we're making up for some of that. But also, King Oger is like the asterisk next to the name because they didn't have a gimmick. They just had their Oger caliber. And then they had their regular, auxiliary max, but they didn't have consistent stuff releasing. And that was
they didn't, but I think had they continued the full action line that they did the Kyoryuger mecha on. So instead of these Super Universe Robos that they're doing now, if they had just stuck to the full action line, I would have literally gone broke buying every mecha that they would have released in the Universe Robo line. I mean, in the full action line.
I think the reason why they haven't gone out and said it. They've talked about just the whole new Robo line that they're doing. I think they're going for the whole customization, hot swapping everything, and I think that's their main thing. But their candy toy stuff, even like Gozu, I can tell you right now, for the next 2 quarters is going to be really awkward because we haven't gotten the Yudos yet, which are like the candy toys for the team themselves. That's not coming out till July. That's a long gap before, but we're getting the second mini Pla set in 3.5 weeks. So it's in June 2nd. So I'm like, how have you not even released a team yet? Like, and we're gonna have 2 waves of the Robos, and then they're already hinting at wave 3 that's coming out in August. That's gonna have the Ring Hunters Robo and then the Daisugen Black and Gold. And I'm like, but they're not releasing anything else. Like, it's just they're not going to make money on just the rings, especially because they're really pumping out the candy toy ones, and they flat out say, oh yeah, if you get the candy toy ones, they do everything else, they just don't light up or do anything else. Like, other than that, they work 1-to-1 with the changer. So it's like, I don't know what they're like. I don't think the numbers are going to be high this season unless they drop something drastic. And I think they're going to bank on the black and gold Daisugen being like their moneymaker.
Which, yeah, no. I mean,
that's going to get
saw
DX. That's going to get that's going to get overly released.
Yeah, let's cash in on these Power Ranger fans that want toys that aren't made by Playmates. Gotta import them. We'll see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did find it odd that even for the like Universe Robo, they designed the Daisugen differently than its original. Like they made it a little bit more edgier. Like, oh, we're trying to make this a more modernized looking one for it, just to I guess appeal to that. I mean, if it had articulation, I'd care. If these Super Universe Robos actually had like, you know, bendable joints, then sure, I would probably care a little bit more on them. But no,
they're just blocks.
And once again, if they announce a Memorial Edition for the Tegasword, something like that, I'll be there. But for this DX, there's something that's going to be the size of slightly larger than my hand and not fit in it. I don't want it.
Because I need the STL file for the 1-to-1 scale one, because Stickazor's already DM me, and I'm like, he's like, I'll give you a discount if you buy the file. I'm like, send me the link. I'll buy the file.
Oh yeah, just give me that STL. I will definitely do it.
Mm-hmm. And he's gonna do the upgrade for the to put all the electronics for free. So when it's done, you'll get an email with the newer one that I'm like, okay, because I'll buy the DX version of that and I will put those electronics in it. Because it's a good changer. I like it. It's cool, but like it's tiny as fuck.
All right.
These are weird sales. I don't know. I don't think until like the third quarter it's gonna pick up. I don't think the next quarter is gonna be any different. It might go up to maybe 1.4, 1.5. I could see it dip down to 1.1, but I don't think.
I mean, that's the true question, because outside of Dombros, every other Sentai series in Reiwa has that's their lowest point. Well, that was their low point.
Lot coming out in their third quarter. Down Brothers had a lot, because that was when they dropped.
They were fulfilling, but they were also fulfilling their backlog, because the Don Momotaro, like that shit, Don Oni Taijin, that shit sold out.
Yeah,
and they couldn't replenish the stock fast enough. Then it wasn't until the second half where it was available, like on the regular.
Is that when they did the gold one too? Was the third quarter? Was that when the?
No, that came out after the release of the show. They announced it when the show came.
Oh yeah, because I know quarter 4 is when they did the festival version of the mini plot down on Taijin, but I don't think it came out during quarter 4. I know they announced it in quarter 3, because that I still gotta build that festival edition with all the glitter.
So they did make color. They did make the one with the better hip articulation around that time as well, just so they could do more with it. But then again, the additional add-ons that they had on for it, like the mecha line for that show was just like the best Sentai has had.
No, I was gonna say, I don't think anyone's. If we're just going Reiwa only,
King Oger's good. I haven't gotten the King Caucasus Castle, so I don't know how that.
The Caucasus Castle's amazing. It's amazing. So
yeah, if I got that along with the other shoe gods, then maybe I'll make the combination. But otherwise,
I could send you a link. You can get the mini plot set that has everything for like 60, 70 now, and it has all.
But then I'd have to build them.
It's not that many stickers though. It's pretty but
I'm busy finishing this.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're like, I'll never get videos out if I gotta build shit too.
I'm trying to finish this out, and then I'll make videos.
But from Karamanjar to now, I swear, the Don Oni Taijin was the only time I've seen universally everybody online losing their shit for the Robo. Like, everyone wanted that. Everyone was like, even people who didn't like the show were just like, dude, I need that. Like,
I mean, there were multiple reasons why. Obviously, it was
amazing.
The size of it, first of all, was massive. They prioritized the combination versus the individualized components, because usually Sentai Robos were the opposite. It's just like, oh, their individualized components are very accurate. Then you combine them together, and it's just like, oh, they're cardboard now. They just stay in one place. Arms, that's it. And they were like, no, we did it the opposite. We reworked it all. And then King Oger just refined that, because the King Oger also has very good articulation. But the problem is they blew out their load in the first half, and there was nothing in the second half besides the full action line for Kyoryuger. And that was it. And then it's just like, well, if y'all just continued down the path of more full actions, I would have bought them.
And really quick, Sugoi says DX and Leon Buster 50, 3,850 yen versus Boon Boonger Police Set 2,800 because it's not appropriate to compare Boon Boon cars with Sentai rings yet. That's the gimmicks. The cars would go on the changer and make all the noises. That is completely that comparable thing because the DX Land Buster also comes with the ring and everything else, but I'm comparing gimmicks to gimmicks because realistically those cars are the gimmicks. There's so many cars that released. Like that's the good thing is they were working with the DX ones, unless you got the candy toy ones. They didn't really do anything. They were just cars to chill with. They're just literally cars. They don't change, but they work with the changer. So that's the gimmick. So you have to compare gimmicks to gimmicks because then I'd be like comparing the Sentai gears of Zenkaiser to just the auxiliary shoe gods for King Oger, which would not be a fair comparison.
No, technically King Oja didn't really have any gimmicks in that season.
They had nothing.
Oh.
I'm shy. Like that was such an easy season for me to collect everything. Like I didn't have to.
They had the opportunity to technically make the Shoe God Souls some sort of gimmick, but they didn't play around with it enough.
They were releasing them weird, like because they put the souls in with like the magazines.
Yeah,
and then they had them like on their own as like SG stuff that came in like the boxes like this, and I'm like. I have a few of the Shoe God Souls, and I was just like, when I had to think like because I was cleaning there and I just found one like on its own, and I was like, when did I get that, and where did I get that from? And then I was like, oh yeah, it came with one of the magazines, like. But I don't see this being unless, like I said, the Diffusion Black and Gold and everything else, unless some drastic stuff drops with the auxiliaries and how things work in like the next month or two. I don't think the numbers are going to be too high. I don't think it's going to go above a 1.5 or 1.6 at the most. I could see it dropping a 1.1.
Because honestly, to be real, I don't think that the Tega June is going to be breaking in any crazy numbers whatsoever. Whenever we get the 6th, whatever they're rocking, maybe might do something, but I don't know.
Because even Boon Booner didn't get a boost that much, and they had, Black and Orange had their own changers that were different. They had a lot of vehicles, but they also, in the last, Boon Booner just started the trend of like more candy toy stuff coming out and Gashapon stuff that work with the changers. And I think that's going to hurt them because I would go for the cheaper alternative. Like, I'm not buying any of the DX ring packs, like, because for what, $3, $2-3, I can get a ring, or I can buy $18 to $20 and get 2 DX rings. And it's like, well, they still they still work.
The big issue with Boom Boomger and Gozuger to pretty much the same level of extent is that there's not enough Gatai. There's not enough combinations that they're doing in here.
No.
Because for Boom Boomger, technically, you got Bundrio and the 2 things. That's all you really need, and that's it. Like, you weren't building anything until you were moving on to, like, the other forms. And with Tegasword, it's the same thing. It's like, you got the changer, you got Tegasword, that red, out the box. Yeah. It's like there. That's it. It's like you want the other ones. Well, then you buy these and you choose which one you want to display. But then, I do think that Toei was in the mindset of people will just buy multiple of these and then display them in all the different forms. It's like no, they aren't. No. If you had made every changer a little bit more different, then maybe people would care. But no.
Yeah. Like, that's why I haven't even started putting my stuff on display, because I'm like, well, do I just keep it Tegasword red or blue or yellow? Because, like, I can't, and I'm not going to sit there and buy 2 more sets of the first wave, because then I'm going to have an extra 2 yellow and 2 blue auxiliaries extra. And I'm like, and, like, no one wants auxiliaries. You want Tegasword.
Yeah.
Like, and it's tough because, like, in my video, and even then I was just messing with it, before we went live, like all 3 forms, like red is boring, honestly, until I get the seahorse attachment. Like the blue and like yellow, they look amazing. And I'm like, well, I would want to display both, but I can't. Like, And if I was getting the DX ones, I'm not buying 5 freaking DX Tegazords. Like, why? I'm not that irresponsible with my money. I mean, I'm close, but I'm not that irresponsible.
All right, let's move on to Kamen Rider numbers.
I'm curious about this.
And they're down.
Yeah.
The lowest in Saber.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think what came out January through March for.
The thing is, I feel that they're just releasing the same Gochizos over again. With
Well, that's the thing. I said that was going to happen because they did the regular DX ones, and then did the candy toys. Then they did the Gashapon ones, but then they did the glittery versions. Then they did the blind bags where you can get the alternate crying faces. The only like major items that came out was the Bitter Gavu belt, and I think Blizzard Sorbet came out. No, the Whip one came out. I think Blizzard.
No one wants Blizzard Sorbet.
No, and it was one of the things they kept releasing so many different ones, and then now they have the voice ones, which I caved in and bought. Those should be here this week. Like it's one of those things where it's like they released a lot of nothing. Plus, also, I was talking in the comments of one of my videos about this. Gavu right now has 3 candy toy waves released, and the 4th one is coming out in August. And with 01, Saber, and Revice, they had a set every month. Geats had 2 sets in the first month in October they aired. Then they had 1, and then they had a month break here and there. But since Gotchard and Gavu, they don't have monthly releases of something new that's not a repurpose of another gimmick. And that hurts them because the Soto line is huge. But the fact that we're almost 34 episodes in and we have 3 waves released, that's it. And like I said, the Gochizos aren't helping them because it's the same ones over and over again. And you could just buy the cheap versions because they still work with it. There's no real difference other than you have to put stickers on them. So it's like, it's not. And I don't think
this upcoming quarter is definitely going to be like the big one, because that's where everyone was doing bad in their own like numbers. And if this is already doing low, it's like, they got to buck the trend.
Well, this quarter is going to have the Gachapod, which I don't think that's going to really do too much for them. Then what else do they have? That's big and major that's coming out. That the talking Gochizos are going to be a part of the next quarter.
But how big is that going to do?
They're very popular. Apparently they're very popular because I look up on YouTube, like Japanese YouTube stuff for like the tag stuff, and I think they're going to do really good. And then also the Frappe custom is going to be a part of that one as well. And I know 1 through quarter 4, technically quarter 4, 1 through 3, that had even ROM stuff, but I think Bake's gun is going to be a part of the next quarter. That's not, so it might, I don't think it's going to be 4, but I don't think it's going to go up from 5.8. They just shot themselves with being like, hey, and now they just, and also now the final form Gochizos for Anniversary Riders is coming out as well. So, yeah.
Which I'm still like, the thing is, it's like,
if it made noise, it'd be great because Double had the best because they gave us final form for King form, and it actually makes noise and talks. Like, whereas these final form ones are just standard Gochizo, but done up like their final form. And then you got the glittery ones, you got the plain ones, you got talking. Like, they oversaturated it without realizing, hey, maybe we just release regular ones. Because the packaging is great. All their marketing for the packaging and everything has been great for all their stuff this season. It's just too much. It's oversaturated.
The problem is obviously looking at these numbers for Gavu, and of course I think the consensus is Gavu right now has the potential to be the best show in Reiwa right now, depending on how it sticks to landing. But then when you look at its predecessor, something that is probably mostly
Trash.
disliked, and
Yeah,
seeing
no,
the numbers that it pulled out, you look at that and you're in a corporate meeting, you're an investor, you're talking to the big wigs, and they're like, no, we need more shows like Godchard because Godchard was making that money.
It's because the profit margin was insane on those cards.
Well, yes, but also obviously, like we discussed this before, a lot of us bought into the cards before the show came out because they released the toys ridiculously early.
Yeah.
So we didn't know the quality of show we were getting into until it was too late. And then it's just like,
I was already committed. I was still buying the cards and I stopped watching the show because I was like, nope, I'm a completionist. I can't. That's why I'm not really going in on the Gochizos. I'm only getting them for the forms so I can have them on display with the Soto forms. So I'm only getting those ones. That's it. Like I the talking ones just because I got a good deal on them. I got both the first two sets for like $28 combined, so it was like $14 a set. I'm like, I can't say no to that. That's a good deal because everyone else is selling them for like $50 for just one set. But it's just,
this doesn't give me optimism for the next show. Just because it's like you know these companies are greedy; they want as much money as they can get, and they're gonna look at the shows that was making the best amount of money, and they're gonna try and do something to try and replicate that formula. So
yeah,
they're looking at Godchard, they're looking at 0-1. Well, that's probably why they brought Takahashi back for Geats anyway. They were trying to replicate that 0-1 magic, but then he didn't deliver. So now they might give the Godchard writers a second shot just to see, like, hey, do what you guys did before so we can get that money. And it's probably not going to work out. And then they're going to be like, well, crap. And who do we bring back? It's like, let's keep digging into the pot. It's like, all right, let's see who can cook on stuff. Who's good at marketing toys. Well, we can't bring back Arakawa, who did Kuga back in the day, because even though he's working on Pretty Cure right now, and Sentai, I don't know if he wants to come back and do Rider. Like, so
it's crazy to look at Wizard's number because they had rings, and then thinking about like Sentai, but Sentai obviously never has the same numbers as, you know, Kamen Rider. But I'm just like, every time we pull these up, and I'm always just like, man, look at that.
Well,
that middle Heisei 2s is just
The other factor for Wizard that I gotta say I bought into because I love these was the Monsters that they had.
Oh, true. I forgot about that.
Just like O's had the can droids.
Yeah,
because I got those as well. So it's like they had little side gimmicks that went along with their regular gimmicks that were also fun collectibles that I don't think, like, I feel like they've merged that concept a little bit with the last couple of seasons.
No, they definitely have. Like, it's like, because Gavu has a lot of cool stuff on the side too. Like, I like those Gochizo pillows they released. Those look really cool, and they're actually decent size and this and that. And I'm like, they have a lot of interesting like DX toy related stuff, but it's just like, I don't know. I just think, and it sucks because the show is so good, but it's not making money like all the other shows are. So it's like, I mean, it is at 5.8, so I mean, it's still, that's not bad, but it's not great.
At the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't matter how good the show is, at least to the fan base. If they're not making money, then it's not gonna, you know, they're not gonna proceed with more of that stuff.
The next quarter is going to be the important one, because if it's in the 3s, then yeah, it's like, no, the show is a financial failure from a toy standpoint. But if it could stay in if it could stay in 5 and be the only show to go into that quarter being 5, that would be great. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out that's going to be in this time frame that I think would definitely help. Like, I really think the Talking Gochizos, even though the price point on them is not bad, I think those are popular. I think a lot of people like that frappe gimmick. I mean, I know in the Gachapod, everyone on Japanese YouTube and this and that, they're eating that up. So it's like, and the big gun, this and that. So I was like, I could see it going being decent for sales compared to the kind of fourth quarter technically, but I don't know. I didn't think it was gonna be a 5.8. I mean, when I saw 6.5, we knew because they didn't have cards. Gotchard had a lot of cards, and by time in that short 3-month time frame, they released a lot of freaking cards. Like, and people were buying those boxes of them.
Yep, because that was like the only way to really get them. Because it's like, even though in Japan you could just get, you know, random booster packs, online, that was the only way. You had to get the boxes.
Yeah. So I was like, so I'm slightly shocked that it's low in the fight. I mean, it's literally the second lowest besides Saber for this that quarter time frame.
And once
Saber
again,
at the time didn't have anything.
It had an excuse as well. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, no, everyone was pinching their pennies. I mean, I wish I was, but I mean, I have every Wonder Ride book because I'm an idiot. So, but I don't know. I think the next quarter is going to be like make or break for like, because quarter 4, you know, like they're probably going to have some other stuff come out that'll help. But there's also nothing else. Like Geets has, you know, the Shin thrown in there, but I was like, what else do we have that's coming out that's Kamen Rider related that could like boost it? Because I think
besides the outsider toys that are coming out, but even then, actually,
this is a part of that 5.8. So
this doesn't factor in the other outsider stuff as well, because of course I got the fucking Zane driver, and that came out just last month, so that's not factored into these numbers. That'll be factored into the next numbers. But it's a monkey's paw situation, Mark, because that would also imply that Takahashi made sellable product with outsiders that went into Gavu, and they'll be like, Takahashi, take the reins again. You got it, my dude. Well, we're just going to keep putting 2 shows between your main shows. From 01, you had 2 shows in between, then you got Geets, now you got Gotcha, and go ahead. You get the next one. Get the next one.
Do you know what else counted towards the 5.8? Clear Color driver and Clear Color Fi's driver.
Yeah.
Chalice CSM. The first quarter was 6.5. That's when nothing else was really coming out for CSM stuff. But yeah, so it's like, I don't know. It's interesting. Like I said, I think if they could pull a 4.5 or higher or keep it in the 5s for the next quarter, which I don't think is unreasonable given what's releasing and what has released in that time frame. Because realistically, we just have till the end of June, and the end of June by the end of June, that's when a lot of their other stuff is releasing. So I don't think it's gonna be higher than 5.8. If it's higher than 5.8, that's gonna be crazy, because then it'll be like a third quarter success more than all the other shows. It's tough. I didn't think it was gonna be 5.8. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be in the 6s because I just see everyone talking about all this stuff, and
but that's the thing. It's like the show itself, you know, has a positive buzz around it. But I think,
I'm saying from a toy standpoint, because I watch a lot of the Japanese toy YouTubers in Japan for Toku stuff with the auto AI English subtitles. I watch a lot of the Japanese toy reviewers and like how they like present their stuff, and also there's not really a lot of people in the US covering like a lot of the toys, like candy toys and this and that, so I have to watch from other countries. And you would think with the way they're talking, like the guy who gets me stuff, when he was going out to find Boon Boonger stuff for me when the last set came out, well, Gabu was in right before Gozuja started, he was like, yeah, I had to go to like 3 stores to find this. He's like, stuff is just flying off the shelves, and he said even Kamen Rider stuff is like flying off the shelves. Like he was trying to find me the Afrabe Custom because the store he normally goes to didn't have any, and I was like, so that's why I was just like, well, if this stuff is getting hard to find, then I would assume that they're making money. Not 5.8, but
I mean, it could be a cost thing as well. Maybe they're just because obviously we know for Godchard producing cards, pennies, pennies to produce. These nickels to produce because they're Gochizos. Like plastic costs a little bit more.
It's all the same mold, and they just got to put different stickers on them. And that's why I was like, why are they doing glittery, clear colors for all these different ones? And then they're doing like the Gochizos are a great idea. I think having 5 different variations for each one is the stupidest decision. Like that was a horrible idea. I'm sorry, even if I was like diehard collecting all of them, I would complain about that. Be like, listen, I don't need a glittery one, a crying one, a regular one, a sound one, and then a talking one.
So I hate to put this thought into their heads.
Don't do it.
But maybe every gimmick from now on should be like a gacha mechanic. You don't know what you're gonna get. Everything is randomized.
Oh, I would spend so much money.
Like if all the Gochizos, like you didn't know which one you were gonna get, it was a blind bag of 3s. Like because I know they come in like the 3-pack of the Gochizos in there, like but if they were like blind and mystery ones, and you don't know what you're gonna get.
Listen, you don't use Twitter or X or whatever it's called. So I when I was going to book off, there's a Mitsuya market, and I went in there, and they put the official Bandai Gashapon store in there now, which doubled as a One Piece official flagship One Piece card game store, and they just had all the Gashapon machines, and I was sitting there just like, it's $2 per play, and it takes Apple Pay. I was like, this is horrible. And my wife's like, what are you doing? And I just sent her a photo because she was at another store nearby, and she's like, don't walk, because I took a photo from the outside. She's like, don't walk in there. I'm like, I'm already walking in there. I got 1 foot in. And she's like, don't. She's like, but I went and I looked around, and I was like, I love the idea of Gachapon stuff and blind bag stuff. Luckily, they only had like Godzilla and a lot of Gundam stuff. And Ultraman Rising. They didn't have any Kamen Rider or Super Sentai stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm safe. But if they did that for the gimmick stuff, making everything blind bag or Gachapon, like you don't know, like that would ruin me. I would never recover from that financially.
See, if they just did something like that, it's terrible, but I would
never get the one I want. I would never get the one I want, and then I would have to go online and find it.
It would clue in on everyone's like need for gambles and stuff like that. It's just like, I just gotta keep going, I gotta
answer this really quick.
So let's see here. Yes, so X8 was also 2 shows before 01. So honestly, the pattern is there. Takahashi might have the next show. Yeah, it's too much of a setup. There's 2 shows between each of his shows, and we are 2 shows in. So yes, put me at the 90% probability camp that Takahashi is doing the next Rider show, which I'm not feeling, but yeah, it's there. The pattern is there. You can see it for yourself. We had Build in 01. I mean, and ZO before 01. Saber and Revice before Geats. And now we had Gotchard and Gavu. So the pattern is there. This is welcome our Lord and Savior Takahashi for the next Sentai season. It's almost like poetry, but it definitely rhymes. It'd kind of actually be breaking the norm if they don't, because this is kind of established now. It's a pattern that's been going on for a good bit now. For 10 years, this would technically be the next Rider show would technically be 10 years of Takahashi. You know he'd be feeling that. 10 years of Takahashi. Let's go. And then he's going to have a crossover with only his shows. Only his shows. And then he's going to appear as the writer. He's going to appear as the Takahashi universe writer, Kamen Rider Takahashi. gonna rock his hat. Takahashi wears a signature hat. If you guys didn't know, everyone becomes a god at the end of next show. Everyone gets extended to just godhood. So with the toys, look, Kamen fan, I know what you're saying about it. Believe me, I'm gonna get to the next image in a moment. That's gonna display all the Bandai properties in terms of their quarterly numbers. So we can see how Kamen Rider and Sentai stack up to things like Ultraman and Gundam and One Piece and all those other things. So believe me, we're gonna look into it. We're gonna look into it once Mark gets off the phone.
Oh, I'm getting Dave's hot chicken. Yeah.
There you go.
She's like, I'm on my home. You want food? I'm like, Dave's hot, please.
I'll be waiting in line.
No, not out here. We have multiple in there. No, we don't get lines. It's also next to a In-N-Out, so that always has the line.
All right. So venturing outside of Rider and Sentai for a second, because I knew some people would just bring up Bandai by itself. This is Bandai's fiscal year numbers for everything that they produce. Well, at least the majority of their big name IPs. So this does include Super Sentai. It does include Kamen Rider. It does include Ultraman. So we actually get the Ultraman numbers in this as well. And Ultraman's doing,
Ultraman.
but it's doing better than Sentai. But that's not.
Oh, I know. Well, it always has. Like Ultraman's always done better than Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. The Gundam, all that Gundam stuff. I mean, that makes sense because they've been releasing shit like crazy. Like I'm about to go get because we have that Bandai Gunpla store out here. They have the Gundam Unicorn, the big one, and I'm about to go pick that up soon in a day or so.
So this is so the numbers are a little different on here because obviously it's taking into account the first 2 quarters. So it's the half year results that we have on here. So full year results would be the combination of obviously the last 2 quarters of 2024 and then the first 2 quarters that we had here. So yeah, that would give us these numbers. That's why they were a little bit different than what we saw in the previous listings on here. I've not seen any leaks for Zetsu at all. Besides the name.
As far as I know, everything that's been coming out is like just rumor and people just making up shit. Because people keep asking me that in my comments on my videos. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I saw the name, the official, and that until I see like a magazine scan or like a trailer or like the handoff episode, like everything is just rumor, not really.
Yeah, and even thinking back to like Gavu, like some of the sketches ended up being somewhat on point, but some of the earlier rumors, like karate plus dog, ended up not being like the thing because that's where people started thinking it was wolf based. And then it's just like, nope, not at all. So it's honestly this early into the game, grain of salt for everything until we get closer to seeing things leaked from the film, because the film will obviously end up showing the glimpse into the next Rider. So it's like, looking at what we got here, it's like Gundam. It's like I'd be shocked if Gundam was ever doing bad anyway, because
no.
Yeah,
Gundam and Dragon Ball are the top 2 IPs always.
The Gunpla line still strong. Like even Dragon Ball for like, I mean, there's Daima, but
they released those SH figure arts for Daima. They have some action figures for it already. I'm not shocked because they released a lot of SH figure arts like crazy, constantly.
And I'm surprised Naruto's still on this figure, but I guess Boruto's still in circulation, right?
I don't know. I never watched Naruto.
Well, it's got some sales numbers and it's less than Kamen Rider. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Pretty Cure. I mean, Pretty Cure in general. So, yeah, One Piece obviously it's One Piece.
Crazy. The card game is insane right now for popularity. Like, I don't think it's gonna overthrow like Pokemon, but when it first dropped, people were scalping One Piece card TCG like worse than Pokemon. They were dropping like regular ass cards that aren't even that rare for like 200-300, and people were buying them.
What I'm shocked about in general is just the fact that, you know, for as much things as I've seen about One Piece dethroning Dragon Ball, clearly it is not.
No, it never will. No, Dragon Ball is too much of a staple.
Like look at these numbers for Dragon Ball. That is the best IP.
Yeah.
For that, man. It's just like, God, you guys need to bring back
and the fact that
regular anime.
Especially the fact that Gundam and Dragon Ball could still have those level of sales when they don't even have sometimes current any shows airing at the time, and they're still just ranking in money.
Mm.
And Gundam's about to have all those new kits dropping, so.
And that's the thing. They have been going lax in terms of their higher dollar model kit releases. Because, I mean, most people have been complaining about their master grade releases just being reissues or re-releases.
Yeah.
But nothing actually new.
They were going really big on the master grade Super Deformed, the MGSD line, and then the MGEX. Or the SDEX or MG, like the SD line, they've been adding to it like crazy. That's all I'm seeing out here is like Matt, because I'm trying to think what. And then they did some metal builds, but those are so expensive. I don't think those really help at all because I don't know anyone who's buying a metal build and then having to pay the shipping on that by weight, and those things are fucking heavy. Because there's a store out here called Gunzo. And I go there and they have metal build. And every time I go in there, they know what I like. So like, oh, well, what, are you going to finally buy that realistic, perfect grade unicorn, this and that? Oh, we have metal builds, Mark. You want to ashtray metal build? I'm like, no, leave me alone. And they're like, but and I picked up the box. I was like, this is heavy. And their price point wasn't bad. And I asked them, I was like, so how much would this cost to ship if you ordered it from Japan? They're like, a lot, because it's heavy. It's a metal build. And I'm like, so I don't see those. It's the SD line, and a lot of their like high grade is what's really carrying the brand right now, because I still see all the aerial ones on everywhere.
What I do like seeing about this specifically is just the fact that the bottom numbers here isolate Japan away from the top numbers. So we get to see where the international portion actually does contribute to this. So let's take, for example, Kamen Rider. For Japan specifically, like the first half, so that would be just the Gavu side of things, technically. 10.2 versus the 14.6. So technically the international market, it like built that one up. For Sentai, what?
24.
Okay. All right. Y'all on Twitter and shit that you're out here hyping up your show. Look at how much you contributed to it. 0.4%. Well, 0.4
if you look at
like million yen, whatever the fuck. Yeah.
If you look at last year though, for 24, 8.1 for Kamen Rider. That's the difference between worldwide and just Japan only. So I was like, okay. That's
Yeah, so they got their projections for next year, but even then, still looking at these numbers.
Really quick, look at Gundam and Dragon Ball in Japan only compared to worldwide.
Oh yeah, no, that's the big thing. Like Dragon Ball, looking at their full year result, 29.9 is Dragon Ball for Japan only. But you bump that shit up to the international, 190.6. It's like. International market is carrying. Even Ultraman. So look, One Piece is definitely better than Dragon Ball in Japan, but you can't beat that international audience.
No. Yeah. Even Ultraman international big number, but then again, Ultraman, you can go to Walmart, Target, this and that. They have Ultraman everywhere.
Well, Ultraman for the most part seems to be the only one of like the big three that actually is doubling its numbers. Like it's got double the outreach when it comes international.
Does help those Ultraman Rising. They were on Netflix. So all those Ultraman Rising toys are crazy when they put them in Walmart stuff.
So looking at the analytics when it comes to this, it's just like, yeah, our contributions as not being in Japan, we can start seeing where that falls into the overall big picture of what we're contributing to the pot of these shows' numbers. And it looks like Ultraman is winning out when it comes to the international audience versus the domestic audience.
So Naruto's not even on the Japan list.
Now they had to put Pokemon in there.
Yeah. I was gonna say, but no, I mean, but also it's all just so it's like China, Indonesia, and stuff. I don't really feel like most of that Kamen Rider and Super, that might would count Super Sentai as 0.4. I don't think that really is us in the States, honestly, especially because Bandai, and I was gonna do a video on it, on Amazon, they've been pillaging and purging a lot of the Kamen Rider stuff off their Amazon page over the, and it's not even recently. They've been doing it for a couple months now. A lot of stuff is getting just completely removed, except for the print-on-demand shirts that they have that are just logos oversized on it.
Yeah. So this is a fascinating insight, just seeing this portion of things.
Yeah.
And just seeing how much we like throw into the pot from the Japanese perspective on here. But then it's like we get their projections, so we'll see how much they end up hitting on their financials next time, in terms of, like, they're expecting a downward trend for Kamen Rider next year.
Yeah.
Actually, most of these companies are expecting, let's see, Ultraman's expecting downward, Kamen Rider's expecting downward, Gundam's expecting upward. Makes sense.
They got the new show, and they're gonna have new kids coming out.
They're optimistic for Sentai. They are expecting 0.1 higher on everything for Sentai.
Give them credit for that.
God, the fact that Dragon Ball's numbers are actually projected lower makes me think we're not going to get that new Dragon Ball anime next year.
Oh no, we're probably not. I'll think it's.
If this was a higher projection, then that would give me the foresight of, oh, they got big plans next year.
Yep.
But no, Naruto, they expect downward strength. For Pretty Cure, they're expecting higher numbers. Okay, I guess you got something big coming on next year. And bigger numbers for One Piece overall for full year. Well, half year it's like, no, it's going to be lower, but full year will end up being higher than what they had year over year. So, but in the Japanese audience side of things, yeah, even Dragon Ball's lower on that one. Kamen Rider is also expected to be lower. Like when their forecasts are lower for everything, like that gives me a lack of optimism for what we're gonna get with these upcoming shows for Rider and Sentai. If they're projecting their toy sales to be that low.
Oh no. Unless they're just being like conservative with their numbers, so that way there when it goes above it, they're like, look, we did better than we thought. It's like
they could, but this gives investors,
yeah, that's true too.
Shock, because normally investors want to see higher numbers, not a lower projection.
Yeah.
The tariffs don't look. Anyone who's trying to put tariffs into the thing, this bottom one is the domestic audience. There shouldn't be any tariffs applied to it. The whole tariff situation in the U.S., it's like that's America putting tariffs on, say, Chinese manufactured goods coming to the U.S., not Chinese manufactured goods going to Japan. Because most of the Japanese toys are still manufactured in Japan. I mean, are still manufactured in China and then get sent to Japan. That's a whole different trade agreement. The trade agreement between Japan and China are completely different than the trade agreement we currently have between the U.S. and China. In the scope of global economics, what we've got going on now is not going to affect the domestic audience of Japan. It would affect the higher up, the above numbers, but not the bottom numbers. And even then, there's a correlation between these bottom numbers and the above numbers. So that's why I'm not going to blame tariffs on any of these things. Tariffs would only affect this upper number, and even then, they're still shooting for a low target on these regardless.
Yeah, like most of those are, like I said, like how many of like it's global, not just US. So this is like, you know, China, Singapore, Indonesia, the UK, like everywhere else, not just Japan. Like we make up, let's face it, what do we have that's actually Kamen Rider that's here that we can buy besides the DVDs and Blu-rays and some of the changers when they show up on Amazon? Like not much. So we like tariffs not going to really, that has no effect on any of the stuff, really.
Yeah. And I find it funny that they threw in Pokemon strictly in the sales of IP in Japan. We know that's the largest IP in the world.
Well, you know why the numbers are the way they are, because not only are now we're in full-size evolutions.
Well, I think since this would be strictly Bandai doesn't produce all the things for Pokemon.
I know. I just wanted to bring up the life-size.
So it's like Pokemon looks dramatically low in this scale, but I'm like, this is what Bandai produces for Pokemon. This doesn't account for the games because Bandai doesn't make the games for Pokemon. This doesn't account for the TCG because Bandai doesn't make the cards for Pokemon. So yeah, it's like Pokemon's on this list, but it's not really on this list. It's just the fact that in Japan, I guess Naruto just ain't baller. Naruto's baller in the international audience, but it doesn't even rank. Yes, that life-sized Gardevoir.
Then listen, you guys ain't ready for those evolutions to be released. Okay, listen, they're going through the. We know what's popping up eventually for life size. Okay, we already know. Somebody all sick.
You know, if they ever did the same thing for My Little Pony.
Listen, I would never. I'm a gentleman and a scholar.
But I never got into the train.
I'm not a brony. I'm not a brony.
But I knew several in college, and I was like, what?
One of a friend of mine ended up on a pseudo reality show involving selling your stuff to locations, and it was a brony themed episode, and that's how I found out they were a brony. I did not know that, and I was like, I've known you for a while, and this just never came up in conversation that like you have maybe a thing for collecting My Little Pony stuff. Like you're not gonna. I feel like that's pertinent because like I don't judge my friends, but I have a line, and then I start judging, and that's the line.
Well, and he had a line as well.
Yes.
And it just happened to be between the backside of some ponies.
Yeah, probably.
All right, but that's the sales numbers. How we feeling overall? Are we optimistic, pessimistic? I'm like, if I like, I don't have anything invested in Bandai currently, but I definitely would be like, now's the time to sell. Or wait for the dip and then buy.
Yeah. I mean, Bandai itself is still making money. Look how much Dragon Ball and Gundam alone are bringing in, like, ranking, and One Piece are ranking so much money for them as a company. When it comes to the numbers of, like, IPs, Kamen Rider, I'm still optimistic. Like I said, a lot of stuff just came out, and there's going to come out between now and the end of June into July. So I think the next quarter number will look hopefully good compared to trending for previous years. Super Sentai, like I said, like I don't the way, like, you know, no separate robo other than the changer, this and that, like, there's a lot less they can release. So I don't, and let's face it, Super Sentai numbers are usually low anyways. Out of the quote unquote big three, Ultraman, Kamen Rider, and Super Sentai is always the lowest when it comes to toy sales. So I'm never shocked when it's like a 1 or a 2 or anything. Like, I'm not shocked at all.
But I think for me, the biggest shocking point is just the seeing the domestic versus international add-on to it. Because you would think for Sentai, that international audience would be putting in all that legwork that they say that they're doing. And then it's like, but you ain't, though.
True.
Like, when it's a 0.4% in terms of the gain that you're providing towards this franchise, yeah, that's not much. Like, that's not a sizable chunk. Like, even for Kamen Rider internationally, that, you know, that's over 4 billion yen that they're invested in the last half a year.
I wonder what a video game count for those. Because, like, you know, honestly, they need to drop a video game. They need to drop a video game. We just start.
So for the domestic ones, it does seem to be, well, even then for the international one, because they say group wide, because that would be the all the other things in there. So yeah, if they did actually end up making video games for this type of stuff, they themselves, that's why I said Pokemon wouldn't count, because they don't, Bandai doesn't do any of that shit. Then yeah, sure, that would count. Which is why I do think for both of these shows, it's like, and we know Ultraman's got its own like game lines that they got going on.
Yeah.
But it's mostly like arcade shit. Ryder does more arcade shit as well, but that's the thing. Is I do feel if they're gonna try and appeal to this younger demographic, they gotta go for the games. They gotta get the video games
and not that weird visual novel one that
the Husbando Simulator.
Common.
Yes,
dude, I still never got to the point where combat was unlocked. It was like you had to get to like chapter, like you had to play for like 8 or 9 hours worth of this visual novel and all stupid shit just to get to the point where there's any sort of like combat. And I never made it that far in. I have all
but how many
recorded now.
How many shirtless cutscenes did you go through though?
Like 6.
And still no combat? Damn. The stream didn't like that.
It's like
it didn't like that answer at all.
What do you mean 6? Be gone.
It didn't like that answer whatsoever.
Yeah.
No, you work for that shit.
We need a game. Like one day.
It's like, at least for Gozuja, they could have made a fighting game. Like, that could have worked as long as it's not done by aiding. I'm tired of aiding making all the IP-centric games.
I wouldn't mind if they went back to what they were doing with like the 3DS and stuff with Kamen Rider, with like the side-scrolling ones. Like that X8 game is a lot of fun. Like, it's not bad. Like they or even like the Dynasty Warrior type ones, like this. There's like
so I was fine with that. My only problem was I hated how Bandai did their Muso style games. And I'm just like, just collab with Toei Tecmo. Like, just have them make it, because like they got the formula down packed. Because it's like I was there day one for the Bat Ride Wars games. I enjoyed them for what they were. I still had my gripes about it. I also still hate that they did the whole, you can buy this game for like it was like the equivalent of like $55. But if you pay like the equivalent of like $85, you can get the premium sound edition. So when the OST plays, you can go ahead and get all those vocal tracks with it. It's just like, so I'm literally paying the music licensing royalty fee. Yes. That's it. That's all you're getting.
Basically.
Oh,
I like the Toys to Life one that I got, the Skylander style one where you got all the little riders and you put them on. I have that for the Wii U and the PS3. I bought both versions. Then I had to hunt down all the riders because like it was on PlayStation and they were on clearance like years ago. And then I bought them both. And then I was like, well, where am I gonna find all the other riders? So then I had to go on eBay and I was sitting there just bidding like crazy just to get all the riders for them. It was a fun game. It wasn't bad. It played like Gauntlet Legend and Skylanders, but with Kamen Riders, and it was neat.
All right, hear me out. This is a terrible idea, but it might make them a lot of money.
Not Animal Crossing with Kamen Rider.
Marvel Rivals with Kamen Rider.
Oh, 100%. Like, yeah.
It's like you're paying for the power-up cosmetics.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's just so many things they could have done. Like, they could have did a MOBA, because that, like, even though Marvel and DC keeps trying to do MOBAs every once in a while and they fail, it's like there's so many options. It's just, I don't think that's their concern. They want to go for toy sales, and it's like, well, I get it. You got to put a lot of money in to develop a game, but if you make a good engine, then you just turn it into an annual release, just hot swap out the character models based on whatever the new show coming out is, and you're good.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. It's like it would be live service, so they just have to keep up with it. They don't have to make a new game every year. They just have to rebalance it every now and then. And then, hey, like just throw in new writer once it comes out. Make it. They could make it like a purchasable one, like during the beginning, and then make it free after the show's over.
The crazy thing is, like, when that Knives Out game, which is kind of like PUBG and Fortnite, did the crossover, and it wasn't just Geats, but everyone was talking about the Geats crossover. It was Geats, and it had, like, you know, Shin Kamen Rider, this and that. The player base and the increase in the microtransactions, like, tripled. Like, I even downloaded it. I even had my international Switch, and I was like, account, and I logged on. I downloaded it to play it in the set, and I was like, this is actually kind of fun. It's better than Fortnite, and I like it because it's more like PUBG. And I'm sitting there like, I need to unlock these, like, all the skins. And it was actually a lot of fun. I was like, they even crossover stuff like that. They do all the stuff in Japan all the time, but it's like one of those things that's like, well, hopefully you kind of think about the international market at some point, especially now that, like I said, like we talked about it last week and before on Discord, it's like, I need the mission statement from this Kamen Rider Global account. There's still no mission statement. Like, instead I'm saying, oh, what's your favorite show? Oh, what show would you like to watch? It's like, no, you shut up. You tell me what your goal is. What? It's like, what do you have going on?
Yeah, what are you here to actually trying to sell us?
What are your intentions with my bank account, sir? Like, don't give me that you want to just be friends with my bank. That's not the case. No, Rooney, I've seen the fan-made skins, and, like, I mean, that's the same people who did the skins for Battle for the Grid and this, that. They're cool and all, but it's like, let's face it, it's mods. We need some official shit from Bandai and Toei.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when the stages could be like historical writer locations. Yeah. You know, that one quarry, that one area, like right outside the stadium, like all of those locations could just be there. It's like places that you'll be like, oh, hey, I remember this site. And then, you know, there's so many writers and like enemy types that they could throw in there to the point that like every like section of like character could fill up the roster almost instantaneous. Like there would be no shortage of backlog. I just wouldn't want them to instantly just do, oh, it's only the main writers for everything. They could go SIC style, but I was thinking SIC style would be something that would be like Battle Pass related. It's like these are skins that you unlock by completing the Battle Pass. Then you can get their SIC style skins. And I'd be all for that. Yeah. And they could even get in some other designed types for them, because I know that there's been multiple like mangakas and things like that that have done their own interpretation of each writer that could end up getting a skin for the game. So it's just like, just do something like that. It's like a free game, or, you know, if Bandai wants to be petty like that, make it like a $5 game, nothing like crazy expensive, because considering that the majority of the things are paid for, just make it something cheap and put it out there, and it will just print money. Like I'm one of those people that spends a lot of money on cosmetics. If I like what you're producing on there, I will spend the money on the cosmetics.
Same.
Oh,
I have a track record of.
That's how they get you.
Look at my old League of Legends account.
It's way easier than back in the game where you had to earn. Like I remember in like Tales of Symphonia, it's like, man, I wanted those costumes. How you got to get this one secret boss. You know, it's way too overpowered for the level that you're in. But if you don't do it before this point, then it's a missable. And I'm like, fuck. While nowadays it's just like, just spend money. Okay.
And you don't know how fast it adds up. $1.99 here and there, $3.99, $9.99 every once in a while, maybe a $24.99, but those $1.99s add up.
Oh, a lot of the free games that I've played, I've spent more money on than regular ass games, just on average. Like,
I don't want to talk about Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle. I don't even want. I was a whale for like 4 years straight in that game. And that was the early years before it got easier when like the events now you can use special tokens to go to older events. No, it's like when you had to wait for events to pop up. When Global and Japan were two separate like cycles, and I had a Japan account and a Global account, and I'm like, so I gotta drop money on the Japan account. Now I gotta drop money on the Global account. I was like, oh, I need that Super Saiyan 2 Tech Gohan. I need that rainbowed. Nah, I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. I mean, I do, but I don't spend money.
It's like for Marvel Rivals, I haven't spent that much money, but I've spent about $300.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, it's more than me.
Because it's like the battle passes, and then I got like several individual costumes, and then there were some that I was just like, I got to get this type of currency to get it. Oh, well,
that Malice skin was not cheap. That thing alone was like what, $24? Yeah, I get it. I see the vision.
Yep.
I enjoyed when you played healer.
I gotta get back on that game sometime.
I do too.
Oh, tonight might be the night because we're pretty much wrapping it up.
I'm going to a Renaissance fair tomorrow early in the morning, and it's all the way up far drive. So I'm like,
we're a full Kamen Rider costume to the Ren Fair.
Let's see. I don't know what I would wear. I don't know if I have cosplays. Like, I haven't done any in like years. I gotta see what I have in my closet. I could.
I think the biggest.
I need my food. I can't wait.
I think the biggest issue that I've discovered while sitting down in this cosplay for so long is that the battle diaper is digging into my my sides for this entire time. Like the right here, like I'm feeling it just digging in, and it's just like But I mean, I doubt I'm going to be sitting for 2.5 hours nonstop. So unless there's a panel that just lasts.
The sun went down, but it's still like 80. There was a guy I saw with a Dragonic Knight cosplay from Saber, and it was so perfect. And I was like, damn. Oh, same guy, like, I almost bought it off him because he offered me like $225. He's like, yeah, but like the measurements would not fit me. I'm too tall. I was like 3 or 4 inches too tall, and I was like, son of a bitch. $225 for that without shipping. I was like, and shipping was only gonna be like $60. I was like, dude, it's under $300. That's not bad.
Well, the thing is that the main issue, it's armor. So the only problem that you would have would technically just be the undersuit. That's it.
No, because he's smaller, so the chest piece stuff would be tight fitting around here, and the helmet because he measured to his specs.
That's the good thing about 3D printing, because it's like I know the helmet size is way too small for my big ass head, so I just adjust the entire percentage.
Adjust them to those dimensions and start the print.
Yep, just move the print size, make it fit to my size. All right. Well, I think that's it. That's all I got. Is that all you got?
I got nothing else. It's hot and I'm sweating. It's still hot here. It's like 8:30 and it is still 81. It says 81 degrees out with the sun.
I haven't even checked my temperature. I've got the AC not even on full blast. It actually shut off for like a bit. So that's why I'm cooking in here right now. But I'm not completely dying in this yet. I'll be completely dying once I'm wearing a helmet, though. That's the one thing I got to do with it. Just trying to breathe for a whole thing. Because right now it's like I've got the helmet upstairs. I'm trying to get the eyes, and I did that last night, but I got to sand off the pieces because I got plexiglass that is 0.4 inches thick, but I got I found a video on YouTube that told me how to the tints on there. They said just buy regular car window tint. So I bought regular car window tint, and I put like 5 layers on it just so I could get it yellow goldish enough on each of them. The only problem that I had was when I warped the plexiglass to contour towards the helmet, I couldn't put on the tint. And then if I put on the tint and then I tried contouring the plexiglass, it would start bending inwards towards the adhesive part of the thing because of the way that it was. So the tint would be on the inside part as opposed to the outside because I couldn't bend it. But then it would start getting weird abrasions on it. So it's like, that's ass. So I ended up just going with like a straight cut, and then I have moldable plastic that you just heat up in hot water, and then you try and shape it. So that's what I'm doing now to do it. But right now it looks ugly as all sin. So I've got to sand it enough to the point that it doesn't look like original Ultraman 66's face.
Yeah.
Because right now it looks bad.
Real quick, Orb, next time I'm in VC, we'll chat about that film. I told you it was bad.
Oh yeah, he was talking about it the other day.
The worst film in the Pooniverse right now. No, I lost my shit. I was explaining the whole Pooniverse to my wife the other night, and I was like, Baby's Revenge got a release date July 26th. She's like, what's that? I'm like, it's the next film in the Pooniverse. And I'm like, I pull out a big, like, my tags. I have a big tablet. And I was like, I pulled it out. I was like, this came out. Then this is the Pooniverse. And then it's the Pooniverse Monsters Assemble. And this, and she's like, it's not the Pooniverse. I'm like, yes, it is. And I was like, it's the best cinematic ever. And also go see Thunderbolts, everyone. It's a good film. I saw it a second time.
I might check it out. So, all right. Well, Mark's got content. He accidentally uploaded up his Gavu reviews before the stream started.
2 videos. Yeah, so I got 2 videos back to back because I did the mini plow one yesterday, and then I had the Gavu one today. And I was like, shit. I was like, well, I'm just gonna leave it there.
I got nothing
down. It's gonna mess with everything.
As I explained in the beginning of the stream, which I know there's some people that just click random parts and then they ask things that literally get explained during these streams. I get these streams are long, but that's why you got to be there.
A little bit.
Yeah, until I get done with this cosplay and get it completely out of my brain, I don't think I can focus fully on making a review because, as I explained once again in the very beginning, I start typing up something and then a 3D print would get done, and then I go like, oh shit, I gotta get this done. I gotta start sanding it. I gotta start painting it and all that stuff. Get it done. And once this cosplay is completely 100% finished and I'm satisfied with it, then my mind should be free. But the thing is, like, look, if you've ever done cosplay, like ever made cosplay, if you're one of those crafting persons, and the thing is, like, my creative outlet has been making my content, but now that I'm working on cosplay, my creative outlet is currently on making this cosplay. And originally this cosplay was intended for something for December of this year, but now knowing that I'm going to a convention literally a month from now, my brain's been going into overload of, I got to get this shit done. It's got to be done. It's got to be 100 by then. I was coasting before on it, but now that the convention's less than a month away, I got to get it done. So, but once that's done, then we'll return back. But otherwise, it's like I've still typed up a good bit of Gavu, and I've gotten some great ideas for introducing a brand new persona all of a sudden. I just got to 3D print some parts for him too. So yeah, there's, and it's not the persona that you're thinking of unless you've been keeping up with the news recently. Then you might know the persona that I'm talking about. Anyway, I think that's it.
I think you mentioned it in BC chat the other day, a couple days ago.
I mentioned it right before we went live.
Oh, yeah, that too. No.
Yes.
That's
So we're out of here. We'll catch you all next time. Until then, bye.
Bye.
日本一